Hey, what's up guys? Alex here with a new video, and today we're taking a look at a brand new lens by Viltrox, their 85mm f1.4 Pro lens for the Sony E-Mount. Let's see if I do this YouTuber thing right. And there it is. If you're new to the channel, my name is Alex and I'm a portrait photographer and I primarily shoot with Sony and Leica. Over the past few years, Viltrox has become one of my favorite third-party manufacturers because they're delivering crazy lenses at crazy prices, and this is their first pro lens for the full frame market. And let me tell you, this lens is a banger. So what do I mean by pro lens, full frame? They've done tons of full frame lenses. Well, Viltrox actually introduced their full frame lineup about 2 years ago with the 75mm f1.2 APS-C lens. Then they followed it up with a 27mm f1.2 lens for APS-C, and I actually took a look at both those lenses, so I'll link the videos up here. And those lenses were incredible. I mean, they gave you, with the 1.2 aperture, full frame bokeh on APS-C cameras, and the sharpness and just resolution you were getting out of those lenses, I mean, they were incredible. There's no other way to say it. A little on the heavier side, but that's what you get with 1.2 glass. Now, Viltrox is bringing that lineup to full frame, and they're starting it off with the 85 1.4. The craziest thing about this lens, it's not only the build quality, the optical quality, the entire package. The craziest part is this lens is going to retail for $598. That is wild. When you see the images I'm going to put up, when you see everything this lens delivers, at that price point, I don't know how it's possible, but I'm spoiling this video right now. I'm just blown away that they were able to produce this lens at that price point. So let's get to it. For this video, like I do with all my videos, I'll be putting up sample images so you can check out the image quality. I will also be comparing it to the Sony 85 G Master Mark II because I actually own this lens. This lens is $1,800, so 3 times the price of the Viltrox. I did a quick comparison, so you will also see those photos, and we will wrap up our thoughts. So I want to cover 3 things today. I want to cover image quality, autofocusing, and build quality, and not in that order. So we will actually start off with build quality because this lens is made out of metal. It's got one of the best feeling aperture rings, and that's actually kind of funny because with all my previous Viltrox lenses, my #1 complaint is that the aperture ring feels cheap, flimsy, and I don't know why they include it in their lenses, but they've done a 180 and have now delivered probably one of the best feeling aperture rings on a lens. It's clicky, it's sturdy, the sound, I don't know what it is about this lens. Let me see if you can hear it. I don't know, it's just such a good aperture ring. You can declick it as well to have a smooth experience. This lens does have an autofocusing, manual focusing switch, a customizable button, and it feels incredible in the hand. It's heavy, it's made of metal, obviously glass. It feels like a premium lens and it doesn't feel like a $600 lens. So kudos to Viltrox on the build quality. I don't know if I mentioned, but I'll mention it again. It's also weather sealed, so you're getting truly a pro lens. Moving on to autofocus, this lens actually uses 2 VCM autofocusing motors. Now, I never go in detail with what kind of autofocusing motors lens uses because as long as it works, I'm happy. But I have to bring it up because there's only another manufacturer right now that's using VCM motors, and that's Canon. And Canon lenses have the exact same, I don't call it problem, but build thing with the lenses. And what I mean by that is when the lens is not attached to the camera, the floating elements move back and forth. So the VCM motors, I think they're magnetic motors. So when the camera's on, they engage and it holds everything in place. But when the camera's off, they're just kind of moving around. What that means is, I don't know if you heard that, but essentially, when this lens is in your bag or you're carrying it around, you're gonna hear the internal elements just move back and forth. This lens is not broken, it's designed that way, so if you do purchase this lens and you hear that sound, it's totally normal, and that's why I bring it up. But how is the autofocusing performance? Well, for an 85mm, it's pretty good. So doing portraits and having a subject moving side to side or in a portrait type of environment, the autofocusing was spot on. never missed focus, it was accurate, it was quick. The one time I did notice the autofocus struggle was when the subject was moving towards the camera. So I noticed that when the subject was moving towards the camera, the lens struggled to keep up with the subject. That could be a variety of reasons. It could be a combination of the lens and camera. So if you're not familiar, Sony does cripple autofocusing experience with third-party lenses when you're doing continuous burst shooting. When I tested this lens, I was doing burst shooting with my Sony A1, and I had the model come towards the camera at a brisk pace, and I noticed the lens did struggle to keep up with focus. When it hit, but when the subject was moving a little on the quicker side, it just couldn't keep up. I tried that with a G Master and there was zero issues. So when we look at this lens and when we look at the overall package, I think its only negative and its only con is the autofocusing performance when a subject is moving towards the camera. Outside of that, it was perfect. It was spot on, it was accurate, and it was fast enough for portrait sessions. But what about image quality? This is the part that really impressed me because it is, I want to say, just as sharp as the G Master Mark II. And at a third the price, that's kind of wild. So I tested this lens before it's released, obviously. And I say that to say, this lens does not currently have a Lightroom profile correction. So when looking at these photos, there is zero digital corrections applied. Most lenses now have digital corrections to fix vignetting and distortion. And right now I do not have that profile. This lens does vignette at 1.4. It's not a crazy vignette, but it does vignette at 1.4. And I didn't really notice any distortion. Sharpness was, incredible. It also handled purple fringing and backlight really, really well. Like, I didn't see any fringing with this lens, wide open against the sun. And I'll be putting up some images here. I really stress test this lens by pointing it straight at the sun. I didn't see any fringing whatsoever. It does great with ghosting. It maintains contrast. And that all kind of impressed me because usually when you are paying less, you're kind of sacrificing something in the image quality. And I didn't notice anything. So image quality really, really impressed me. So I decided to put it side by side with a G Master. And I noticed two big differences. One, the G Master is a little wider. So if, let's just say the Viltrox is truly an 85mm lens, I would say the Sony's more of an 83 or 82mm lens because you're getting more in the frame. I also, obviously, I called it out already, noticed that the Viltrox lens does vignette a lot more than the Sony. Now, keep in mind, Sony does already have a profile correction, so you can fix it in post, but the Viltrox does have more vignetting. Now, as far as contrast, as far as sharpness, as far as purple fringing, they both performed almost identically. I think the only other thing I can point out is that the Sony lens leaned more towards the cooler side of colors and the Viltrox was a little on the warmer side. But those are really the only differences from an image quality perspective. From a build quality perspective, they're roughly the same size. The Viltrox is maybe a hair longer. I'm talking about like just a tiny bit longer, but it is about 150 grams heavier. So you do have a heftier lens. All right, so let's wrap up this video, guys. I am blown away by the price to performance with this lens. I think this is one of Viltrox's best lenses from a build quality perspective, image quality perspective, and just price to value. And it's crazy because when you look at the G Master, it's $1,800. And before this lens came, I would always say if you wanted a cheaper alternative, the Sigma 85 1.4 is a phenomenal option. And I think right now that lens retails for around $1,200 or maybe $1,000, give or take, which means the Viltrox is still half the price of the Sigma. And to me, that is crazy. So I can easily recommend this lens if you're a portrait photographer, if you're looking at an 85mm and you don't want to splurge and spend $2,000 like on the Sony. I think this Viltrox lens is a phenomenal option. And like I mentioned, the image quality, the build quality, it's all there. And the only con or negative that I noticed was autofocusing performance when a subject was moving towards the lens. It wasn't the fastest. But what do you guys think? Like I mentioned, I am providing image samples for you to download, so check them out. play with the files, let me know down below. As always, please smash the like button. Please subscribe because it helps out the channel. And I will see you on the next one. Have a good one, guys. Peace.